Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to Live Q&A with me on December 17th, 2018. We're certainly glad to have you here. I'll be answering your questions as we start the week before Christmas. So a lot going on. Working on getting ready for 2019. But before I talk about that, let's talk a little bit about 2018. First of all, great year. But man, the past 2 weeks of Dice Tower Retreats have been some of the most phenomenally great gaming I've ever had in my life. From playing some of my favorite games to some classic old games to brand new games multiple times to teaching games. I mean, it was like gaming nirvana. It was really, really excellent. And all the people who came were fantastic. It was just a fantastic time. Took a bit to shut it down, but with the help of all the folks in Retreat 2, we got it done. We took it to our new storage area where we're keeping all of our games. And then some other changes. I brought a whole pile back here because I have a pile to review. Some amazing, some horrific, and some in between. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a lot of live stuff. Well, actually starting today, later on today. Jason's going to be joining us for a live Q&A. In fact, let me double check on that real quick because I think I might have the time on that one wrong. Let's look here. So, upcoming live events. I thought I had one here with Jason doing a live thing. Well, I guess I better get that together then. At 3 o'clock today, Jason's going to be doing his top 10 live. I will put this together now. So that's how we do it. Top 10 games of 2018, Jason Levine. This will be going up today at 2:30 p.m. And Jason takes a look at his favorite games from 2018. The event is created. And then I'll go in and so the event gets created, then I go in and make a thumbnail. Happily, the thumbnail for this one is already made, I think. Apparently, on December 13th to 14th, 2018, you'll notice a noticeable decrease in your subscriber count. Whatever. All right, so now the event's been created. Now I'm going to go look for thumbnails and go there. And there it is, Jason's top 10. Boom. All right, scheduled, and you can see that later today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going through my top 100 games of 2018. That changed all the way up to yesterday. There was some changes made to that, so fix that up. So that'll be tomorrow, and then I'll be doing different top 10 games live throughout the week. And so we're hoping that these top 10 lives give you guys a chance to interact with us and interact with each other, and then you can still watch them later on. I do understand that people want pictures in them, so I've been putting pictures so that when we put them on the screen, you can see at least a picture of the game as we go through that. So anyway, it's 2018. Lots of stuff going on. Christmas is coming up. I don't think you'll see any videos on Christmas Day, but all around it, lots of things. The cruise is not too far away. That's in 2019. And I'm working on a 2019 Kickstarter, which will start halfway through January. And then finally, a big thing with everything that's going on is for the Dice Towers, we're going to be making some changes. Now, some changes you've heard about, like Derek is heading to different places and Roy Canada is taking his spot. But other cool changes. I have 4 major changes that we're making to the Dice Tower. I don't want you to worry, like, what are they doing differently? Some of these things we've already been testing of sorts, so I think you'll be pleased with all 4 of the changes that I'm planning to make, of the big changes. And then there is even more changes on the horizon. I am always striving to make the Dice Tower better. All right, so let's go over your questions. Hey, Tom, nice to see you. This might be a weird question, but do you have any advice for someone who wants to start their own board game business? No, because I don't know what you want to do. I'm assuming a store. I mean, it could be a store, it could be a cafe, it could be a publisher, it could be a podcast. My business for the Dice Tower slowly evolved. It never was meant, I didn't start it as a business. I treat it very much like a business now. I'm very careful what I do and say and think in regards to it being a business at this point in time, but it started off as a hobby for over a decade. So I don't really have any good advice except make it a hobby for 10 years. What are my favorite Keyforge houses? My favorite is Aliens. After that, I don't know. I'm still messing with them and seeing. Tom, I need a great card drafting game for Christmas. All right. Well, I would recommend that you go check out my top 10 drafting games. Defenders of the Realm is getting a second edition. What would I like to see in a Defenders of the Realm second edition? Holy cow, a graphical. Like, make that board look beautiful, because right now it does not. Loved hearing about the experiences. Would love a top 10 game experiences of 2018. That is coming. It's on the horizon. We will be doing our top 10 gaming experiences of 2018. The date to be determined. That should be, it will either be this week or next week. Would love to see Sam and Z get added to the look back videos similar to how they're done for Week in Review. Well, Sam and Z were not reviewing things 10 years ago. I'm not even sure. I guess they were reviewing a few things 5 years ago. So that's why I'm doing the look backs by myself for the most part. The game room thing. Yeah, I found that I went to Shitty Maple, which of course, as we know, is one of the greatest restaurants on earth, and they have a gift shop there, and this was there for like $20. I was like, woohoo! So I got it. If we didn't come to one of the first Dice Tower retreats, will we have the opportunity to come to one of the next ones, or will those who already attended be given first option? Well, those who already attended will be given first option. I've already decided that, but I'm also going to have more space for the next Dice Tower retreat, and not everyone will be able to come back, so you will have a chance. We will be announcing that and opening up registration for the next Dice Tower retreat, which will be in 2019. Likely it will be in September. But nothing is set in stone yet. We're working on those details now. And so registration and for all that will open up in February. How do you think your life would have been without the Dice Tower? Amazing. But that's just because I've been blessed with an amazing life. My wife and children and all that would be here without Dice Tower. Dice Tower is fantastic and fun and terrific, but it's not necessary for me to enjoy my life. Highlights from this weekend? No, there was just a lot of great games. I actually played my top 2 games. I played Project Elite and Cosmic Encounter. I haven't put Gloomhaven in the library just because it has a gazillion pieces, and we're not trying to put it in there without, just becoming a huge mess as you pull it out. Gloomhaven will eventually get into the Dice Tower library, but it's going to take a bit to get that one in there. But man, I played so many fun games. We played Downforce with the Mario Kart racers. That was entertaining. Played a really weird game of QE. I just played so many games. I would say I probably played 30 games. Will Melody be on the cruise? Yes, she will be. Melody's actually in the house right now. How many bets did you lose to have to wear that jacket? Oh, I think I got to win them, right? I like this jacket. I've always found it entertaining when people wear the quote-unquote ugly Christmas sweaters, and I've yet to see people wear ugly Christmas sweaters because I think they look pretty cool. Do you have a starting date for the Kickstarter and duration set yet? Not 100%. I'll have that information in a week or maybe 2 weeks. We'll see. We're working on getting that set up now. Was there anything about the business income part of the Dice Tower? Seeing all the recent Kickstarter promotions, I wonder if Dice Tower cares about public funding as much as before. I very much care about public funding as much as before. It's still the vast majority of the funding for the Dice Tower. Not to mention the Dice Tower has 5 employees, and we have a lot of things going on. We're trying to make things better and better. I'm not a huge fan of doing Kickstarter previews of my own. I pass it off to Mark. So Mark does paid previews for Kickstarter, but the majority of that goes to Mark. We are doing some Kickstarter playthroughs and things like that because I find that much more fun to do, and it's an enjoyable thing that we can do. And I don't have to sit there and go, this game is interesting and try it out. No, we just have a fun time playing it, even if it's a bad game. And so far, I think all the ones we've done I think are great. But they're just fun for us to do. So I'm trying to do that and give you guys good content and interesting things without diluting the channel at all. But we still will very much need public funding from you all, and that's why we will run the Kickstarter. But I don't want to talk about that all the time, which is why I do it once a year in January. There was a snafu that the pandemic review Fall of Rome from Z never got uploaded for whatever reason. It's being uploaded as we speak, so it will be up sometime today. Is the pandemic 10th anniversary edition worth the price? In my opinion, no, like not even close. It looks nice, $100. It's mostly for that metal case, and who cares? But, what do I know? What do I hope to get for Christmas? Hats, socks, ties. I don't know. Love. Oh, the Pandemic Fall of Rome review just went up. There you go. What's up with the Cinco Linko costume party? We're doing a playthrough of that, so you'll see that at some point. And yes, those are real pictures. What was the name of the store where you got the game room sign? It was at the Shady Maple Gift Shop in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. My right collar button is undone. Whew. I do not know what I would have done without you. You must be watching in HD. Are you planning to do another episode 0 for the podcast? Maybe. What's my favorite food for breakfast? It would just be my favorite food. I'm not constrained by the cultural restrictions on what I can eat for breakfast or not. Did you play any alternate rules in that downforce game with the Mario Kart minis? No, we just played normal. I'm sure that there's someone that's probably made up alternate rules for them, but I think Downforce is a pretty good game as it is, and I'm not sure I want to play with like custom stuff. I'm just happy with the Mario Karts and how well they look on the board, and so that was fun. And it's fun to say Luigi and Mario instead of red and green. You mentioned the Dice Tower library will have the most popular games, even if you don't like them. So Kingdom Death Monster in there? Nope. Kingdom Death Monster won't show up in the Dice Tower library, but there's a lot of games that I really enjoy that will or don't enjoy that are popular that won't make the Dice Tower Con library. So the way the library is put together is I'm putting in there games that I know people want to play, and then I'm trying to upgrade them and make them as cool as I possibly can. To that end, so there's some games that aren't going to make the library for now. If we go to some events, some games will show up. For example, big, giant, 2-player games won't be in the library. Why? Because they take up a ton of space, and there's not as much space necessarily at some of the gaming events, like the cruise and retreats for those big games. 2, if I don't think a game is family friendly, it won't show up in the library, and Kingdom Death Monster is not. 3, I'm not putting all those miniatures together. Holy cow, no way. So that's not happening. So that's why Kingdom Death Monster, because I'm not putting those miniatures together, and I don't believe the game is very family friendly. So there you have it. Not because I don't like it, not because I have anything against it, but that's the Cards Against Humanity will also not be in a Dice Tower library for it's not family friendly. So there's going to be some games like that even though they're popular aren't in there. But in the Year of the Dragon, Notre Dame, I don't like those games at all, but they're in the Dice Tower library. Please say hi to Melody from all of us. Hi, Melody. What do you think about the Brothers Mirth Top 10? Oh, they had a lot of fun doing that. I was kind of surprised at the number of people who thought that those sponsorships were real. Man, we wish we could get sponsorships from those big companies. And they also had a ton of crossover. They really are very similar in their thoughts. Yeah, someone else mentioned Kingdom Death Monster is not a great game for a one-off play. That's true, too. Although that wouldn't necessarily stop me from putting it in the library. Are we planning more Twitch integration or just sticking with YouTube Live for 2019? Nothing is set in stone, of course, but I'm kind of leaning towards YouTube because YouTube has more of a, well, it just works for us. Like we did our top, we've been getting over 1,000 views live on it right now, and I'm pretty happy with that. Am I happy to be back to my regular schedule now that I finished the retreats? Yes, although I don't know that I ever have a regular schedule. So like this morning I'm coming in and doing this and getting ready for tomorrow, and it's just not quite the same. I got 2 extremely big games sitting right there that I'm going to be reviewing today, so a lot going on. Which of the escape room games would work best for 2 couples? I want to say Chronicles of Crime, although that's not quite an escape room game. But all of them. I mean, I don't know how 2 couples is any different than 3 people. They all work well. Do you have the new iPad Pro and pencil, and do you like them? I do. I have the new iPad right here, and the pencil is not here. It must be in my bag. I almost always use the pencil now. When the iPad Pro first came out and I got the pencil, I was not very enamored with it. Of course, the way it charged was stupid. This wireless magnetic charging and the fact that it sticks to the case, really like that. And so. Are all the games in the 2018 surprise list available to purchase? I think what you're asking is, can I get them? And that I don't know. Because they're definitely been made to purchase. We don't review games that aren't published. But I don't know. I don't keep track of that information, whether a game is out on the market or not. That's a full-time job to keep track of that. So no giant versions of games at the library like Azul or Rhino Hero. Some giant versions might make it into the library at points because they're spectacles and stuff. But I've heard that people don't really like playing those giant versions that much anyway. Will you teach me Project Elite or Cosmic Encounters on the Dice Tower Cruise? Probably not. No, but I don't mean, what I mean is this, is that I don't, and this happened at the retreat. So remember, the retreat was 60 to 70 people. It's about the smallest event we've ever run. The cruise is going to be 600 people. But there's that few people, and people come up to me and say, can you play this? Can you teach that? And sometimes it works. But I never, ever make agreements to do stuff ahead of time. I just don't do that. It makes my convention going so much better. Someone's like, hey, can we play Project Elite later? Maybe. But that's about the most I'll tell you. Because if then I'm free and someone said I have a game, I might go, oh, I'll jump in that game. Oh, you want to be taught this? I'm here right now. But I won't schedule it because then it's frustrating. I've done it in the past and I won't go back to it. Where I'm sitting there going, I got to be somewhere at 2. And I was going to do this, but I already said I would do this. Nope. If I make no prior commitments, when I'm done, I just float around like a butterfly and go, that looks fun, and jump into it. That does not work for everybody. Some people like to be scheduled up. I love schedules, right? Like the Dice Tower, I schedule everything, and I schedule my week and what I do. But at a convention, I don't. You talked about PAX Unplugged a lot actually, but could you talk more about what you've experienced and how they can improve? They can improve in various ways. One of the ways that PAX Unplugged could improve is have a better way to get people to play with each other, because that way is not as well. Most people are coming to PAX Unplugged and playing with people that they already know. I don't know if that's not the onus, maybe isn't on PAX Unplugged, but like the teacher won it and player won it signs are barely used there. And so I wish they were used more often. Also Rug in the aisles. But other than that, it's a fantastic and better than the other big cons. When you put several expansions together in one or two boxes, do you generally remember what expansions each go to, or do you use a system for keeping them separated? It depends on everything. Every expansion I treat differently based on how that expansion fits into the base game. I found Exit to not work well with two couples. You can only work on one puzzle at a time. Not really. Maybe some of the Exit games, but most of them, there's multiple things that you can work through. I don't find that Unlock is any better at it. In fact, I thought they're about the same in that regard. Do you ever have days where you don't feel like gaming? Yeah. If so, what was your longest duration? A day. Isn't a retreat just a longer game night? Oh, sure. Just like a convention is a big game sale day. I mean, just like a game day with multiple tables is slightly bigger than me having gaming at my house. That's not really... You can... You know, this reminds me of what a lot of people do with gaming. They'll be like, well, in this game, I mean, it's basically just this and this. Well, yeah, you can make any game sound snarkily stupid if you want to. You can be like, well, this game just boils down to whatever, and make it sound dumb. Same thing with the game retreat, but the game retreat was awesome, was much more than that. And I promise you, 100+ hours were put into planning these and putting the library together and getting things ready. So it's not just another game night. I don't think, anyway. When you're getting ready to play a big, complex game, how do you learn it? I open it up and read through it and learn it on the spot. I've had to go back and read and watch videos for a few games, but not very often. Is there a best time to try to catch a game with you on the cruise, such as early in the morning or something like that? I'd say early in the morning, but honestly, on the cruise, everything is, I mean, at most conventions, early in the morning is a great time. But for the most part, it's just, as on the cruise, it could be anything. Because the cruise, time does not exist, it feels like. So I might game late, I might game early, I might, you know, I do what I'm going to do, whatever. Did you have games you played after making your top 100 that should be included today? You mean my top 100 of all time? Sure. You'll see some games that I've played since then that are going to make it. That's always going to happen. Of the games I played new to me at the convention, and I played some games there many times, even though they were new, there are 1, 2, 3, 4... that are guaranteed to make my top 100. That's it, though, that are guaranteed. I don't think any of the other ones will, even though some of them I like a lot. There's a couple that I thought were amazingly entertaining and a lot more fun than I thought they would be. And there were some that were horrifically worse than I thought they were going to be. And there was a couple... 1, 2, 3. There were 3 games in particular that I was super pumped about. Like, off the charts excited about them, and they were resounding mehs. Or, well, one was, okay, 2 were good. 1 was just good. 1 was good, but the thing I was most excited about it was not good. I know this is very ambiguous. And then the other one was just a big pile of meh. Like, extreme meh. That always makes me sad. All right, anyway. You know, it's interesting. Some people ask me, why haven't you reviewed this yet and such? I'm not really humanly able to do that. I just made my schedule here. Let's see, it's right here. I have my game reviews scheduled all the way up to January 13th. All right, so I have the games. I'm doing a minimum of, well, some days I might be doing 1 review, but 2 reviews. there are huge, big name reviews every single one of these days, almost. And I'm still not reviewing tons of games that are on that shelf, that are in the other room. It's just not possible. So when you say, why haven't you reviewed a game yet? It just hasn't happened. And I'll say that's one of the frustrating things about a review, because people get like angry, like, why hasn't this review come out? Get that review out. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. We're working on it, and I don't think anyone in the world would. Well, maybe not that. That's probably not true. But I don't know why people would accuse me of like slacking on this. I put out more reviews, I think, than other people do. Maybe there's people put out more than me, and that's fine. It's not a contest, but I mean, I work hard at getting these reviews out and everything, and so it's a little frustrating sometimes when people are like, why isn't this review out yet? Like, really angry. And I mean, like, half the questions in the YouTube are like, when's this review coming out? When is it coming out? We're working on it, but isn't it okay if you would be interested in like the 400 or 500 I've already done this year? There's a lot to watch while you're waiting. I'll get to them, I promise. I'm doing them in the order I want to do them in. And that order isn't always going to match up with your specific order, but hopefully you'll find some good games along the way. Well, let's close that. There we go. Let's see. Would it be too taxing to have a retreat one weekend every month? Probably. Because even though the retreat was fantastic and terrific, I still wasn't with my family the whole time. I mean, I saw them a little bit, but not much. It was almost as if I was out of town. Yes, I went home and slept in my own bed. Yes, I said hi to the kids at brief moments, but I didn't spend a lot of time with them. In fact, tonight is all about the kids. Tomorrow night is all about the kids. You know, I'm making sure that, but I don't know that I would want to do that once a month. I thought about it seriously, but also if I did that, we'd probably have to stop going to almost all other conventions. Do you have games you try to get played at a particular time of year? No. I play games when I want to play them. Is there any other platform like Board Game Geek to log plays, add games to your collection wish list, and check your friends' collections and plays? There might be, but there's not any that a lot of people use. Any early thoughts on the proposed Metal Gear Solid board game to be released in 2019? Emerson's designing it, so I'm sure it will be good. Is there a video showing the newest studio? Yeah, it's somewhere. I mean, just like look for Studio Tour in through our videos. Have you mixed King Domino and Queen Domino yet? I haven't. New Year's resolutions, I don't really make them. I've made resolutions before, like I'm going to do something. For example, I tried to lose some weight, but I figure you just do it when you're going to do it. I don't know why January 1st is the time that people do it. I mean, I get why it's like this, hey, it's a new year and stuff, but I figure just start doing it. And so I have resolutions for the Dice Tower, but again, I'm making them now, working on them now. So I don't know. New Year's resolutions work for people, I guess, but they say most, like, what is it, 80% of them aren't even followed, so I don't know. Where did I get the jacket? I got the jacket from Oppo Suits, which is written right here. I get yelled at this all the time. People are like, why is the tag still on there? Well, first of all, this is sewn on. I cut it off the Spider-Man one, but it was really hard to do so without actually cutting the suit. This doesn't just rip off. And I actually don't mind it being there. And also when someone asks me, I'll be like, yeah, that's what it is. Nah. Which iPad model do you get storage size? I got one of the larger storage size ones, not a terabyte. Oh my goodness, that's like too much space. But I got a lot of space. I don't remember how much exactly. Why don't you wheat your Santa legs hat? I don't know, because I decided to wear the black one. I thought maybe I was going a little too far anyway. Oh, did I catch up on questions? I think I did. You might be wondering, say, hey, Tom didn't answer my question. Well, sometimes Again, people say, "Why have you played this game? Did I do a review?" Yes. Or I'll mention it something else. I'll get to it. I promise. If I play a game, it'll get mentioned. With some exceptions, I am slowly building up a group of games. I'm going to do another one of those 10 bad games in one shot video because I don't feel like going through the whole game and explaining them. Yeah, it's unfortunate. All right. I'm from overseas and would like to visit the USA and attend a gaming convention. Do you have any recommendation what convention to attend? One of my most asked questions, and my answer is always the same. Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a lot of gaming, go to one of the smaller ones. If you want to see lots of publishers, go to one of the bigger ones. If you want to see the city, go to that city. Really just look and read about each of them. I'm not going to ever recommend it because everyone is different. Some people, when we were at the retreat, told me this was perfect for them. They liked the fact that it was really small, and they go around and talk to people, and they weren't interested in publishing and publishers. They just wanted the game, and that was perfect for them. Other people, for example, the Secret Cabal guys, they came down to Dice Tower Con, and he was like, "Yeah, it could have been better. I wish the exhibitor hall was bigger." I think Dice Tower Con's amazing, but that's what they were looking for, so it wasn't as good for them. What do you eat for Christmas dinner? Usually a shrimp and sausage mix that I make. I might do something slightly different this year. I haven't decided yet. I love playing games and love gaming tables. However, I notice that everyone ends up playing standing up. Any thoughts, or are we just too short? I don't even know how to answer that. The only time I stand up for a game is if the only time I've seen multiple people, because I'm tall obviously, but the only reason I see multiple people and myself stand up is when you need to move around the table, like dexterity style games. Other than that, I haven't noticed people stand up unless the game is so exciting. You have what we call a stand-up moment where you stand up and you're like, "Whoa, I'm rolling the die. This is gonna be it." I noticed you start to wear ties a lot more. Any reason? Well, I figured I had all these ties. I should start wearing them. Also, I'll be honest. When I was fatter, the ties, they don't come down to your waist properly. So they ride up a little bit. They sit there, and you just look fat wearing one. And that bugged me, right? I'm like, I don't like looking fat. I don't. So I would wear the 3-button shirts. They're also more comfortable. I know that most people don't consider ties and collared shirts and vests and things comfortable, but I like wearing them, so I do. Will there be a top 10 stinkers of the year? No, I don't think so. Me saying the game, we do occasionally top 10 games we hate or whatever, but for the most part, we do games that we love, or we do a couple games we hate lists, but for the most part, my reviews were already mean enough, right? There's no reason to rub that in. I have a whole pile of top 10 lists live. You can see what they are. I've already put them all and scheduled them all. They're all positive. Is there a particular place you'd love to play a board game at? Moon, in a submarine? No. In a castle? I don't know. On a space station? Meh. On a mountain or an island? I would like to go to many of these places. I don't know that I want to play a board game at them. I would like to play a board game in an outdoor place that wasn't super windy so it wouldn't fly away. I like being outside. What improvements did you see happen and are proud of? Well, I've really been proud of this year how our live stuff has gotten better. Like, I wanted to make 2018 the year of live Dice Tower. And I don't think we got there, but I think we're getting there. I think we're learning how to do things live, and I think we're getting better. The video editing has obviously improved, and I'm really happy with how we ran the Dice Tower retreats this year. I'm extremely pumped about our library that we've built, and I'm pretty happy with just the team and the back and forth that we've built. And there's been a lot of bumps and a lot of things, a lot of internal bumps that you don't see and stuff going on, and that's starting to get smoothed out. And I had a meeting with Kenny this past week, and I'm just so excited about 2019. I really am. And I know I probably say that like every year. I'm just pumped to see what the future is. And one of my things that I want to do, I'm just really excited about it. So. Have you heard anything about a reprint of the Air Pack for Memoir 44 coming soon? I don't know when it's coming, but I know they're doing it. Will Dice Tower West and Dice Tower Con be in the same months as in 2020 as 2019? When will you announce the actual planned date for 2020? I would imagine the dates for both of those cons will be announced at the cons. In fact, for Dice Tower Con itself, unless anything changes, I know for sure that one will announce the date for the next Dice Tower Con at Dice Tower Con 2019. For Dice Tower West, I'll have to talk to those guys and see. Best dessert for Christmas besides key lime pie? Oh, I don't eat key lime pie for Christmas. I eat ice cream cake. Are you worried about not staying ahead of the wave for board gaming content? Well, the wave has broken over us. I can't stay ahead of it. You know, no matter what I do, like when we do our top 10 games of the year, people will be like, that's invalid because you didn't play anything. Well, small heads up, no one has or ever will. There was a podcast one time that I invited to join the Dice Tower Awards, and they said, well, we don't think that, you know, it's that we can vote in those because we didn't have a chance to play all the games that came out in whatever the year was. And I said, well, but nobody ever is. I feel like I play more board games than most people on earth. You know, maybe I don't think I play the most because it does seem like there's some people who that seems they have no job, they just go around and play games. But I would guess I'm in the top 100 people on earth of different board games played. Maybe. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm in the top 10,000. But anyway, I'm certainly in a high percentage. And I'm not even close. Like, not even a little close. I'll play games that I'm pretty sure are bad. And you know, and a lot of people aren't doing those. It's just not possible. So I came to the realization that I can't stay ahead of the wave. I can't, you know, just always be on the forefront. So I'll just do my best. I'll try to do some games. Play some big games. Some years have gone by and there's some big games that I just haven't got to. And I just have to accept that I can't play or get to everything. And you know what? Once I came to that realization, it made my life so much better. I look at all these games here and I'm like, man, I got to get these games played. I got to get these games reviewed. But if I don't, if it takes me a while to get them to the table, life goes on. Tom, I want to start a small local convention. Any advice? I don't have any for you, honestly, because we work as a team, and I have a lot of advantages people don't have in the sense that I have a built-in audience. Getting other people, like I can just put out the word, and some people will want to come. So other than that, I'd be very cautious to give advice. It's different. I run 3 different, well, I don't run Dice Tower Con, but Dice Tower Cruise and Dice Tower Retreat, and I'm looking into other things and working with Dice Tower West, and all the cons that I'm involved with run completely differently. Tom, you seem to enjoy cooking. Any thoughts of a Dice Tower cookbook? Probably not. I don't make my own recipes. I kind of just put stuff together. Do you ever stop and wonder if maybe you're the only person in the world who wears some of the articles of clothing you wear? Well, I know that because some of my ties are custom. That suit was made for you. No one else ever bought or wore one. That's probably not true. This suit has definitely been bought by other people, I'm sure. If you look at Oppo Suits, their website does show newscasters always come in and they're like, hey, look what I'm doing. I'm wearing a crazy Christmas suit. And everyone's like, oh, ha. I wore this to church on a Wednesday night, not on Sunday morning. Didn't want to like burn the church down. But I wore it on Wednesday night. Everyone's like, that's amazing. But no one else will wear one. And I wore it with the pants hat. Did you ever consider how you appear to treat Jason in his video blogs? Yeah. So that's an interesting thing that comes up all the time where people are like, wow, you guys are mean to Jason in his video blogs. Well, there's 2 reasons that happens. One is it's a shtick that we're doing at this point in time. We're like, okay, anytime Jason puts the camera on us, we'll be like, right? Secondly, he literally puts the camera in people's faces while they're in the middle of doing something. So you'll be like, and I'll move, then he'll be like, hey, Tom, what do you think about this game? You're like, I'm trying to make this move here. Or you'll be eating like, hey, are you having a good time? And that's hilarious, right? Which is why I put it on the channel. I don't mind it. But it's not always, you're like, get out of my face. I'm trying to do this thing. And it's like, it's expected because we're getting used to it, but it's also unexpected at the same time. Oh, this is weird. I'm behind on questions. I guess I better catch up here. Tom, it was great meeting another gamer from Allentown at PAX. What other conventions would you compare it to? Well, Origins and Gen Con. It's similar to those, but also different, too. I like wearing ties too. We were all born an individual, yet too many die copy. I gotta be careful. I don't want to be a person who's like, well, you're just a sheep wearing stuff. No, I mean, people can do what they want. I don't mind that, teenagers, it always fascinates me that they all do the same thing and wear their hair the same way. And I always have a fun time. I talk to my wife about this all the time, and she's not interested at all, but I talk because she's there. But I'm fascinated by, I try to look at music and fashion styles, and I try to guess what are things that people do now that will make fun of in the future. Like everyone makes fun of, maybe long sideburns or bell-bottom pants or whatever it is, from the 70s or in the 80s, fanny packs or the shirts that only came down to the navel or mesh shirts or whatever they are. I'm not necessarily saying these are bad things. I'm just saying they're things that people kind of make fun of, like, yeah, look at that, look at the curl in the head. I love that. But, I mean, in the 80s and those different things. So I try to look at things that people do today and go, what do people do now that people may make fun in the future? I think people will look back now, and I'm just guessing, that people look back now at the guys who shave completely bald and yet grow beards that look like they're Civil War generals. I think people will make fun of the sweaters that are really long in the back and they're like just put over everything else. Who knows? And I when I see someone's style, I think, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that will be made fun of. So what I do is I wear stuff that you can make fun of today. You don't have to wait 20 years. You can just make fun of it now. But what I always find it interesting, I'll go places with my ties and my jackets and vests or whatever I'm wearing and my hats, and people are like, that's a great hat. That's a great tie. I'm like, well, why don't you wear one? Oh, I could never pull that off. That doesn't make any sense. I can't pull this stuff off. I'm a hideous human being. I just wear it because it's fun. And so I think, but people really are cowed because there are people who do make fun, right? I wear this stuff on the internet. People are like, look what he's wearing. Yeah, that kind of can roll off my back usually. Sometimes words do hurt, but yeah, usually it rolls right off my back. But a lot of people, they don't want to go through that. I second the wish for more back porch video top 10s. That was really fun when we did it, right? It looked cool. It was a great background. There's just a lot of technical problems with that. Every time we went out there, we had to move the cameras and move the sound and all that, and lighting and everything for each video that we did out there. And I prefer to have our studio set up. I've made the executive decision, and I guess this is a spoiler for where we are in the future, but the Dice Tower cameras are staying at the Dice Tower studio. So what does that mean for the upcoming year? That means we're not streaming live from Origins, we're not streaming live from Gamma, we're not streaming live from Dice Tower Con. We're still going to be doing stuff at those conventions, and we're going to do stuff, but that will come at an increased other content. There will be other better content for you. You say, but I love that stuff. Yeah, but here's the deal. That stream coverage at Gamma and Origins, which was a duplicate stuff anyway, half the stuff we had at Gamma, you saw again at Origins. Not a ton of people watched it. It's essentially just advertisements for those publishers. And for me, it's not that interesting. It's just someone sitting there going, here's a game that's coming out, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's neat. But everyone's doing that. Board Game Geek is doing it. Lots of people are doing these streamed, live, published things. I want to do stuff that we're doing, and I want to show people how fun games are. And I don't think that doing those live streaming events are as fun. Now, Dice Tower Con, It was fun, I think, to watch the live, Dice Tower Awards and all that stuff. But I also want to make these things something that people want to actually come to. So if you want to see the Dice Tower Awards, then you need to come to Dice Tower Con. Or maybe we'll record it and post it later. But we're not going to do the whole big live stream setups anymore. And that will also make our equipment here in the studio get better and more expensive and nicer because it won't be moved around all the time. I had to pay for 2 replacement cameras last year. That is not a cheap thing to do because stuff just gets broken and messed up as you move it around. We leave it in here. We can work on the lighting. We can work on our backgrounds. There's a lot of cool ideas that we have for the future. I'm excited about that, and not moving it will help us out. I don't know. Oh, that's why I don't go to the back porch. Now, maybe at some point, the back porch will become its own studio, and I'll get a camera that's just to be used out there. That's a very big possibility, but by not moving all this stuff, that makes that a better possibility. Am I reviewing Nemesis? No, I'm doing a live Q&A. Have you seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? I have not, but I've heard great reviews from everybody, and so I think I will go see it. Went to Thirsty Dice in Philly this weekend. Heard you were there. I enjoyed you. Yeah, I had a good time when I was there. Do you still get the same excitement of demoing a game now that you did when you first started? I don't know that it's the exact same because you got to remember the first time you demo a new mechanism, you're like, wow, this is really cool. So I could bring, let's say you've never played, I'll use a recent game, Manitoba, right? So I bring Manitoba out, and Manitoba has some interesting things. And it's fun, it's a decent game. And you play it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I've seen that before, I've seen that before, I've seen that before. Combine, it's an interesting thing. But if you've never seen any of those, you're like, what? You're doing that the whole time. And so I think that first initial wave of excitement, it's hard to come back to that. Where is Sam Healy at? Oh, there's no one here at the studio. Well, it's a couple of my kids, but that's it. I gave everyone Monday off because everyone was at the retreat the whole weekend and all. I just don't take many days off. I like to come in and get some stuff done. So I needed to get some computer work done, and I got a couple reviews I'm working on, so I'm excited about that. Also, Jason's coming in later to do his top 10. Have you considered a Dice Tower Twitch channel which features Dice Tower partners versus yourself, similar to how Geek and Century approaches Twitch? No, I have not. So it's not a shtick, it's how you feel. You mean like what I wear? Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me, I know that if I wear stuff like this, then people will know, hey, that's Tom Vasel type thing on the Dice Tower and reviews and such. But I just like wearing this. Like on Saturday, this coming Saturday is coming up. I'm not doing anything this coming Saturday. I'm spending it with my kids, having a good time. I'm probably going to wear a vest and tie because I just do that. I like wearing them. It makes me alert, makes me have a fun time. How was the cantata on Sunday? Good. Did any of my kids participate? Yeah, my wife and daughter sang in the choir. So that was good. Also, I spoke afterwards, so I was supposed to show up. The worst kind of game for Christmas night? A bad game. Diplomacy. What's my favorite Christmas song? I don't know. My Christmas songs list is long. There's a lot of Christmas songs I like. Now there's one I listen to is Let It Snow Somewhere Else. I've been enjoying that. But my favorite Christmas song? I don't know. There's just so many. I like Christmas. I don't know that I want to listen to the same song all the time. Tom, why does Z always seem like he never wants to be there when he's at your booths at cons? He comes off as disinterested and kind of rude. Well, I'm just assuming maybe you bumped into him at a moment or you misunderstood, because I've seen Z at conventions and he's there and he talks and has a good time with people, and then sometimes he's tired, because we do get tired at conventions. And so I'd encourage you to not take a single impression of that and run with that. I mean, I'm sure that I've met people at conventions and they've left and said Tom was rude, and maybe it just was I bumped into someone at the wrong moment, or I said something shortly and I didn't mean to. That sort of thing happens a lot. So if Jason is so bad, why don't you tell him to stop pushing the camera in your face instead of being nasty to him? Well, again, I like the whole shtick of it. And again, the shtick is us being silly to him. You know, to being, like, for example, Eric Summer very rarely gets annoyed at anything. But every time Jason does Eric just stares at the camera. You know, the disinterested look on his face. And that's just kind of a shtick that we have. Do the Dice Tower have paid employees, Z, Sam, Derek, or are you all volunteering your time? Yes, they're employed. There's 5 employees at the Dice Tower currently. Derek Porter, our video editor. Sam and Z, video editors and content creators. Kenny, who runs all our behind-the-scenes stuff, administration, and Lindsay, who is our marketing director. Oh, and me. Again, I'm not criticizing any of those styles I mentioned earlier. I'm just saying that I like to guess what people will make fun in the future, but I don't know. Let's see here. Do you think you'll do a top 10 with a guest like Eric or Jason in the future? I bet you I do one with Jason today. Does the back porch have a new function, like a lunchroom? No, the back porch is just a back porch. I missed the walkthrough it used to do of S and other cons. Was waiting for that video this year also. Yeah, I was just super busy at the cons, and so Essen this year, so I did not make one. I also figured I don't want to necessarily repeat myself every year. I'll try to do some if I go to cons this year. How many Dice Tower con tickets are there left? I don't know, a couple hundred, 300? I'm not sure what the number is. How does the number of reviews you do affect their quality? Well, I assume that you're wanting me to say it makes them go down, right? I think that's a fair thing, right? If you do more reviews, they won't be as good as if you did less reviews, assuming you're putting the same amount of time in. And I get that, but I'm trying to do more reviews and consistently make their quality better. And I think if you look at a review I did from 2008, for example, compared to a review we did in 2018, that they definitely have gotten better. Tom, what are the plastic boxes used for the small games in the Dice Tower library? Where might I buy some? Oh, you're talking about the photo boxes? I get some at Michael's. I know you can buy them from Amazon online. There are different places. They're photo boxes. They come in cases. And then I know that there's a place where you can make those cases. One of the guys in my game group, Ernest, he helped us make all these. They look gorgeous and wonderful. Dice Tower Con live coverage is fun. I know it's fun, but I'll tell you what, we want to make Dice Tower Con as good as we possibly can. And we're not doing that if we're running all that live stuff. Because running all that live stuff is a ton of work and money. Like the streaming, for example, is a huge cost to that con. The hotels charge vast amounts of money for streaming and stuff. And so it just isn't in our best interests to do that. But we're going to do a whole lot more live streaming in 2019. So don't worry about that. Maybe not at the con, but there's going to be streaming. How do your viewer numbers vary between your live playthroughs versus your live top 10s? Which are more popular? Oh, the live top 10s by a mile. We tried an exit game for the first time on Saturday. Our game group is pretty smart. We love puzzles, physical escape rooms, etc. Pick Polar because I've done research in the Arctic. Did not enjoy. Does the order matter? I don't think the order matters. I don't think the Polar was one of my favorites of the bunch, although I don't remember disliking it. So maybe just some work for you and some won't. Are you still looking for a video editor to replace Derek? Nope, we found one, Roy Candidate. And is it required to be local? It is. You always mention Korea. What did you do over there? I did a variety of things. I initially went over there, taught English. I was also a pastor of a church there. And then I also taught in an international school there. I taught math. You were very quiet. Most people don't say that to me normally. Favorite black and white Christmas movies? I don't know. I don't watch the old movies very much. But to be fair, I don't watch the new movies very much. Have you done a top 10 roll and write games? No, Z has. I started making up a top 10 roll and write. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this. And halfway through the list, I was like, well, I'm not very expert on this. I better have someone else do it. So I don't play as much of those as much. To me, a lot of roll and writes, I play them and I go, okay, that was interesting. But it wasn't that much different than every other roll and write. I'm kind of mind boggled that people are just like, roll and write, roll and write, roll and write. I guess. I'm not that way about any other genre, like worker placement, worker. I mean, I hope a worker placement game's good, but it might not be. Will you be doing a live chat next Monday, Christmas Eve? Yes. I will be, because nothing's going on Christmas Eve morning, so why not? What was on your Christmas list this year? I don't know. I just made an Amazon wish list. I don't remember what I put on it. Will you be making more predictions for 2019? Sure. When will your predictions for 2019 appear? Soon. Did you see the Stagmeyer YouTube post where he called for everyone to make less games and focus on quality over quantity? No, I don't disagree with him on that. It's just that it's kind of like shouting into the wind. Why? I mean, publishers aren't going to do it. They're going to just publish tons and tons of games. And any publisher that pulls back and focuses on quality over quantity, it might work for them, but another publisher will come in and pick up the slack. If it's okay for you to be rude to Jason, is it okay for us to be rude to you? For example, which is bigger, your ego or your belly? Well, yeah, probably my ego. I try not to make my ego too big, but yeah, it's probably bigger. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay for you to be rude to me, I suppose. Let's see here. Will Roy be creating content as well? Roy will continue to do Favorite Game Friday, but for the most part, Roy will be doing video editing for the Dice Tower. If you could create a new holiday, what would it be? Key Lime Day. What's the app in the group you use to track your steps? I use, oh my goodness, I know my mind has one blank. Pacer, and I started a group called Dice Tower Group. So you can join that if you want to. Whew, I need to walk some more today. Why did you decide to focus on live content lately? Because I follow the wins. of what people are looking for, and people like live content. Now, you'll notice that even though I'm doing a lot more live content, we're still doing a lot of stuff that's not live and a lot of videos. It's not like I suddenly stopped doing videos to do more live content. It's just that I'm taking some of the stuff that I was doing and I'm moving it to live so that people can be part of a community and be part of listening together. Do you have the Ant-Man expansion for Marvel Legendary in the queue for review? I don't even have it. Why does only the M and the thing blink? Now, that's just the only one you can see because of the lighting in here. It does G-A-M-E-R, but the M, you just, because of the way the angles are and stuff. No worries. In person, it's cooler. Alrighty. Well, I guess that's it. I just realized that it's time for me to end here because the episode's over. I got a lot of stuff to do today, but I'll be back later on today with Jason going over his top 10 games from 2018. So I don't know what they are, so we'll find out then. And I'll be back tomorrow with my live top 100 games of all time. But that's it for this time. So until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Live Q&A on the Dice Tower.